talk about three things. So firstly, to situate listening as part of the communication process. So we needed to situate listening within a wider skill set. As Dr. Willie said, we have the 4 skills, yeah? And also to consider listening in online contexts, online settings, as that is our focus today. Then I'd like to focus on one aspect of this, and that is listening as decoding. And let's look at what's involved and how we can help our students. And then if we have time, I'd like to look a little bit at active listening, what it means, and again, what we can do to help our students. The Q&A policy will be right at the end. Okay? So let's look at listening as part of the communication process. So let's look at listening in the skill set. Here we are. So we have traditionally the 4 skills of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. But let's consider listening and speaking. I want you to think for a moment. You don't need to write anything. This is just thinking. What happens when people have a conversation? What does the speaker have to do? What does the listener have to do? Is this a one-way transaction or a two-way transaction? And why do you think that? So I'm just going to give you a little while to think about this. Okay, so when we look at communication models, they have changed over the years. Early on, we thought that our communication was a line, from one to the other. Then later, we looked at communication as being interactional. So we listen, we speak, and so on. And nowadays, we tend to look at communication as a transaction. Okay? What does that mean? Well, there's a lot of other things involved when we look at a transaction. And I'm going to look at a very popular model with you to situate listening. So this one is quite old, but it's still very popular. It's Barnum's transactional model. So again, you can have a look at the model and think about what do all these terms mean? And if we're thinking about language learners, is there anything else we need to consider?